Hello, it is July 11th and it is 4:47 a.m. So right now I have to talk about a few things that I need to clarify and get over. First of all, just recently, my dad, the greedy framer, out of anger, revenge, and wanting to make fun of me, claimed that I really can't do much of anything and that I don't have innovation or that I won't be able to do zero tolerance coffee in 1 month. Basically, these are talking terms that law enforcement themselves cannot say, and they're getting him to say them. The reason is law enforcement that cannot look at reality for 30 minutes to help save their life cannot argue with me if zero tolerance coffee is going to get done by me within a period of 30 days or 100 days. Because a person who cannot look at reality for 30 minutes cannot argue if I can get something done in 30 days or 100 days. And I tried this with law enforcement multiple times where in the year 2025, in around the year 2025, after October 2025, law enforcement were basically making their arguments against me. Oh, he's really not something. He's really not anything at all, and his brain savant's nothing. You guys are just hyped up a little bit too much, and this and that. So obviously, I knew that law enforcement would never do a challenge with me. And the reason is due to the fact that they know they're lying. And so they would say stuff like Mythbusters and mythical mornings at nighttime, only for them to run away by morning time. So basically, law enforcement, I took them up on their challenge. I went to Russia for 25 days. And they never did their challenge in Russia for 25 days, even though it's a 30-minute challenge. So after that, they did the exact same thing this year, where they're arguing against me this year. And what happened was this year, I just put it under oath. If you're right and you do your 30-minute challenge, I'm anything less than Kim Peek Rain Man in 30 minutes. Guess what? You win your case because my entire theory against you doesn't exist, and I'll put it under paper. Sign it, give it to court. I'm giving it under oath on video that I will sign it, give it to court saying that you guys won your case fair and square, and that I was not Kim Peek Rain Man, and that law enforcement should win their case since they did an investigation, and my entire theory against them, that the fact that they only ran sex schemes and money fraud since 2001, only to find out about my brain savant and then come after me and try to frame me with multiple false testimonies, was false due to the fact that my entire theory against them theory against them did not even exist, since I am not Kim Peek Rain Man. So basically, yes, that was a challenge last year. Excellent challenge in front of the entire world. I took them up on their challenge, and I went to Moscow, Russia. And so I went to Moscow, Russia, and they did not do their challenge for 25 days. And so this year I took them, they tried their challenge again out of extreme envy, seeing these girls liking me for my brain savant powers that they themselves told everyone about, by the way, including my dad, the greedy framer. Yeah, law enforcement told everyone of them before I ever told a single person about it, due to which I even know that they have a brain scanner. Because how can something that's inside my brain be known by people before I even whisper it to someone? So I told people after August 25th, 2023, everyone, including Miss Deb being a prime example, knew by June 2023, since Miss Deb was trying to get me married to her daughter by June 2023. Why was Miss Deb trying to get me married to her daughter? Mainly because the August 9, 2022 brain savant test let Ms. Deb know that I have instantaneous photographic memory, innovation, and focusing. So basically, instantaneous photographic memory was measured on August 9, 2022 for 6 hours. You've got April 22nd, 2025, where my ears were let go of, and checked if that is let go of, since it's locked right now, would it increase my powers or not? And it did. It increased my powers exponentially. And then after that, we also checked innovation a few weeks before April 22nd, 2025. I was laying in my bed, and they let go of the innovation part of my brain savant, due to which we checked innovation, and innovation was superhuman as well. Focusing basically means that, like, on August 9, 2022, I can use instantaneous photographic memory for hours, from morning till night, for as long as I feel like it. And focusing also means that I can literally crush all my desires, like hormones and things of that sort of nature, when I'm trying to use instantaneous photographic memory. Obviously, all these people know all of these things. My dad, the greedy framer, does too, and I'll prove it in a second. But my dad, the greedy framer, does too. He's just gonna be like, oh no, he can't do that. He just says these things and this and that, blah blah blah. He's lying, and the people that he's lying for are basically law enforcement. Law enforcement cannot say these things themselves. The reason is, if the law enforcement says it, it's going to sound really funny, considering the fact that I've been through Russia and back for 25 days. I put up a challenge to law enforcement where law enforcement can literally win their case in 30 minutes if I'm anything short of Kim Peek-Rain Man, and I would put that under paper, sign it, that law enforcement ran an investigation since my entire theory against them, claiming that I was Kim Peek-Rain Man. Law enforcement found out about it through a brain scanner, due to which they wanted to frame me with multiple false testimonies did not even exist. So law enforcement basically gave this thing to my dad, the Greedy Framer. My dad, the Greedy Framer, I've literally only met about 3 times my entire life. I've never met him. Rarely ever talked to him. And if you don't believe me, you can ask law enforcement. I only talk to him about I think once a year or so, and that's why I knew that he knew about it. So basically in the year 2025, he was being a little too nice. He was basically, we only talk once a year, and even then it's just like, hey, how are you? That's fine. All right. That's great. And what happened in 2025 was he was being a little too nice, and I realized it, so I started ignoring him. And immediately afterwards, the guy gets the message, and he gets the message that I'm not going to give him any money, and he starts blackmailing me through law enforcement with Disney ads and his other sister ads and this ad and that ad in the year 2025. And the guy doesn't waste a single day to start blackmailing me through law enforcement. And then he is in court narrating against me. Now, the thing is that on June 28, 2025, last year, my dad, the Greedy Framer, lost his case. Before June 28, 2025, he was making crazy videos about me to the government, like he should not let it go of his brain savant, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And so after June 28, 2025, I won my case, and the guy goes bananas. On June 29th, he's sending me father-son videos and ads, and on July 18, he's like, Babuji, I feel like it's the day you were born, and I just wanted to talk to him and see what he was doing. Basically, he wanted money. He found out about my brain savant, and he would not be wasting all this time right now. And if he did not know about my brain savant or the monetary potential for it, or the fact that my mother is going to get the money and he's not, it's a common sense fact. And so after November 1st, I rejected him again, due to which he asked his Framer sisters, he begged them to go make false testimonies against me. So basically, yeah. He made a false testimony against me on November 20th, 2025. Basically, that false testimony gets caught. And the day that it gets caught, December 29th, exactly at 1:27 p.m., the courts realized that this man is a fraud, he's a liar. He begged his sisters to frame me with that false testimony, and he also begged law enforcement to give it to his sisters. So guess what? The courts immediately kick him out of the witness stand. At that very moment when he's kicked out, on December 29th at 1:27 p.m., December 29th, 2025, at 1:27 p.m., he starts sending me money transfer ads. So there you have it. Why was this guy so obsessed with me? Wasting all this time for a person whom he never cared about, ever in my life. We only talk once a year, and I was always polite till I figured out this time that, he basically knew about my brain savant, wanted it locked up because he knew that I wasn't going to share any money with him. So basically, yes, every time he gets envious, he sees I got all this attention, and law enforcement tells him, just make up some stories about him and say that his brain savant doesn't exist. So you'd be like, he's just saying that he can't get this thing done. What are the chances that if he really thought that I could not get it done, he would be blackmailing me for price tags of money, which literally just started right now on July 9th, 2026. Basically, my dad, the Greedy Framer, before doing this, you got to remember that he had planned lies against me. He had planned on making lies against me, basically, through his sisters, and one of his sisters confessed to the government informant, due to which he continued making these lies against me even after November 20th, 2025. After getting caught, he was making it in January 2026. And so, yeah. So what happened was, on February 10th, 2026, the courts basically tell him that we know that these are lies. On February 11th, 2026, starting midnight, 22 minutes past midnight, he calls and frantically messages me, so nice to hear from you after so long. And literally, the only hearing we were having on February 10th was in court, where we were arguing back and forth. And he was claiming that my brain savant should not get freed under any circumstances because I'm a bad person, this and that. And I was telling the court that he's a complete total liar. And that same night on February 10th, after midnight, February 11th, 12:22 a.m., he's messaging and calling me saying, "So nice to hear from you after so long." When this was the hearing we were having on February 10th. Obviously, it was because the courts had basically told him, "We know that you're lying, and you're full of it." And so he basically realized that the money, the brain savant money that law enforcement told him about, just like how they told everyone else about, would not go to him, and it would go to my mother, since he failed at fabricating false testimonies against me, since he was caught for the second time, basically lying. November 20th was the first time. Then he gets caught. November 20th, he gets kicked out on December 29th at 1:27 p.m. Exactly when he gets kicked out for November 20th false testimony. So the first false testimony, he's getting kicked out on December 29th. At 1:27 p.m. And what does he do at 1:27 p.m. December 29th? He sends me money transfer ads on December 29th and 1:27 p.m. exactly when he's getting kicked out. What are the chances he doesn't think there's a lot of money involved? I seriously doubt it. Then, second time, he's making more false testimonies against me, even after November 20th. The moment the courts tell him, "February 10th, sir, we know you're lying. You're a liar. You've been lying," and the way the courts knew was because his sister, while fabricating the November 20th, basically she told them that they had more lies that planned out after November 20th, just to make sure my brain savant could not get freed, my mother could not get the money, and so no one else could either. The money that my dad, the greedy framer, and his framer sisters cannot get from my brain savant. What does my dad, the greedy framer, do the second time he's caught lying? He goes for the money. Except this time, he's not going to send me money transfer ads because he knows I know a little too much. I know about November 20th, the mass panic and chaos he caused. News media, CNN had to not smile on live TV for days after November 20th, till they were caught completely at the testimony stand. And even after that, till they were caught completely, they were told, like, "Look, there's no lying about this. There was a government informant involved." Well, second set of lies my dad, the greedy framer, is told. So the first set of lies, November 20th. What does he do when he gets caught? Exactly on December 29th, 2025 at 1:27 p.m., right when he gets caught for the first one, he goes right for the money. He sends me money transfer ads trying to see if I would be willing to give him money or not now that he's been caught. What kind of money is he asking for? Probably not the little amount that I have in my bank account right now. Yeah. So basically, he wanted my brain savant money that he's been told about through law enforcement, and that's exactly what he wants. Second time he's caught with lies. Already confessed to government informant before November 20th, 2025. His framer sisters could not tell him that the lies that you're making right now, we already told the government informant because we wanted their opinion. Obviously, when you're fabricating in November 20th, you're going to be like, it's like a car mechanic. You're with a car and you're like, "Hey, look, I've got other problems in the car. Can you tell me about this one as well?" That was not a corrupt person in law enforcement. That was a government informant. So they confessed to more lies that they were going to make against me. So basically what happened is my dad, the greedy framer, could not be notified by his sisters. He had to continue lying after November 20th. And the lies that he was making after November 20th were all of them were planned lies from before, even before November 20th. His framer sisters told him over the phone, "Look, these are the lies we're going to make after November 20th, but don't talk about it over the phone, because after we make November 20th, we're going to make such a big deal out of it that, it's going to be all over the news media and everything. They'll be watching our phone to see if it's true or not, because we'll be denying that it's true. So we can't tell you over the phone anything. So these are the lies we're going to make after November 20th. Don't talk about it over the phone. We're just going to have to do it." So after November 20th, they had to make more lies. The only problem was these more lies that they had to make were already confessed to a government informant before November 20th, which meant that there was one person who had to keep making these lies because he could not be. He was in Ireland. You got to remember, he's video chatting from Ireland. he can't be notified. Like, hey, look, those lies we were going to make, don't make them anymore. And because then he'd be on the phone, he'd be like, why not? We just got caught with November 20th. We don't have anything else. And like, how do you explain this over the phone? You can't, right? So basically, his sisters just keep quiet. They're like, every time he would call court and make those lies, they were probably just like, can't believe he's doing this right now. It's that sort of thing. But they had to let him do it. They had to let him do it. There was no other option. They're not going to call him and be like, hey, look, those lies we were talking about not to make, don't make those. Because they knew they were going to make such a big deal over November 20th to make sure there was no way my brain savant could get freed, that they were going to exaggerate it and fabricate it so much of crime and setting that didn't exist, that they knew for a fact that after that, over the phone, don't talk about it too much, because it's going to be a big case after that. And once it's a big case, they'll be monitoring our phones and everything. So whatever you have to talk about it right now. That's exactly what they did. And so they confessed to the government informant before November 20th that these were going to be lies. The only problem was they couldn't tell my dad, the greedy framer, that these lies don't make them anymore. We've already confessed to the government informant, told them everything, that we're going to make these lies. So there's one person in the gang of criminal fabricators who could not be notified. That was my dad, the greedy framer. So the second set of lies he had to make. And they could not tell him over the phone in Ireland, like, don't make those. They knew they couldn't call and tell him, and like, don't even video call the courts or anything. Obviously, like, government's not stupid. They'll figure it out. And it won't be easy to convince him. So basically, they had to let him make those lies. And I bet every time he made it, his sisters, his framer sisters, are probably like, can't believe he's doing it. We already told everything to the government informant. He would make it really aggressively. He'd be like, you have to listen to me. This is what happened. This is what's going on. And he would be explaining the lies that were already confessed to the government informant as being complete and total fabrication. So basically, yeah. Second time on February 10th, the courts basically tell him, look, we hate to cut it to you like this, but we know those are lies. And obviously they're not going to be like, it was a government informant, this and that, because all the other corrupt people would be like, hey, why'd you not fabricate? You were supposed to be there to fabricate false testimony against him. No one does that. So, I mean, yeah, people would do that, because obviously there would be like corrupt people in law enforcement. They would hate the person that was honest and told them, the government, that these people are fabricators. So basically, February 10th, my dad is told that they knew that these were lies. What does he do the second time? Well, he can't send me money transfer ads the second time. That would be stupid, right? Because I would just take it and throw it away. But so what he wanted was something a little more corrupt and disgusting at the same time. So on February 11th at 22 minutes past midnight, first he tries calling me like a frantic maniac at 22 minutes past midnight, messaging me saying, so nice to hear from you after so long, even though the only hearing we were having on February 10th was me and him arguing back and forth, and me telling the courts, like, look, Your Honor, this man is a liar. He's been lying all along, and he's only doing this out of extreme envy due to finding out about my brain savant that law enforcement illegally told him about due to having a brain scanner. And so on February 11th, 22 minutes past midnight, he starts his drama. 3:17 a.m., he sends me a picture of a porn star named Sunny Leon with his sister first name on it. Now, he's told at this time that this is an open advertisement for incest. And then at 3:56 a.m., he sends me a picture of his old ugly sister from Florida, someone resembling her, to try to check to see if I'd be willing to sleep with her or not. Very disgusting and disturbed individual. Anyways, so we know for a fact that he tried to use incest as illegal assurances of money. So the second time he gets caught, this is what he's basically doing. And then he keeps doing this over and over again, to the point that on March 7th, 2026, even though on February 11th, 2026 at 3:17 a.m., he's told, you send a porn star's picture with your sister's name on it. It's an open advertisement for incest. But on March 7th, 2026 at 10:41 a.m., 11:06 a.m., and 2:07 p.m. 3 times in one day. He sends me that same porn star's picture with his sister's name on it. Very disgusting and disturbed individual, only to try to get illegal assurances of money from me. Yeah, so then basically then after that, you know, he sees that I'm in no mood to be negotiating any illegal assurances of money. I'm not stupid. I know that if he's actually trying to do all these things, he's only doing it so he could get some illegal assurance of money so that my mother's not the only one getting the money that he was enviously trying to lock up using false testimonies. Now, the thing about him is, you have to go by with people. So the first time he's caught, he sends me money transfer ads for November 20th on December 29th at 1:27 p.m. Second time he's caught, he's trying to use incest to get illegal assurances of money from me on the night of February 11th using his own sister, selling his sister for sex and incest in exchange for illegal assurances of money. We know that for a fact that it was incest that he was trying to do with his own sister, that he was trying for me at 3:17 a.m. on February 11th without a reasonable doubt, since the courts told him at that time that sending a porn star's picture with your sister's name on it to your son is an open advertisement for incest. Well, March 7th, 2026, he sends it to me 3 times anyways, only because he was desperate. He wanted to try to get a deal made based on the illegal assurance of money, and he was willing to use sex as a means to do it, and he was using his big, fat, ugly old sister named Fur, the greedy framer, in order to do it on March 7th, 2026 at 10:41 a.m., 11:06 a.m., and 2:07 p.m. Now, the question that has to be raised is, a person who's openly promoting incest in exchange for illegal assurances of money and openly sending these money transfer ads to see if I was giving him money or not, every single time he is caught with falsifying a false testimony against me just to enviously try to lock up my brain savant. What are the chances that he's humiliating himself in front of the entire world while claiming to the entire world that he's a very religious guy with his long beard and this and that? What are the chances that he doesn't know that there's money involved? Highly unlikely, I would say so. So yeah, except for that, let's go on. We're not going to go that much far in the past, even though he has sent me illegal price tags and this and that for illegal assurances of money. But let's just take it from 2 days ago, July 9th, 2026. Okay. So let me just read out my journal that I have over here. It says, the courts need to please keep in mind the fact that my dad, the greedy framer, has been kicked out of court already, and that the reason that he was kicked out was not due to him making numerous lies against me or due to him, sending me blackmail price tags of money all day and night long, just as how he is doing right now, only about a day ago. So he's been kicked out for numerous reasons, not just for illegal blackmail price tags of money, not just for making numerous lies against me, but also due to his aggressive behavior. He was very aggressive during the third time he was given a third time, starting April 2026. Extremely aggressive towards everyone in court. He was very abusive towards them. He was berating them. He was yelling at them. He was screaming at them. He was abusing them. He was telling them that they were twisting his words. They're not letting him speak. He's trying to get to the truth. This and that, blah, 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 when in fact all he was trying to do was make lies again. And they had to retrieve phone conversations in order to find out that these were all complete and total lies. Well, this is what this journal is going to be mainly about, that he made lies and did absolutely nothing else except for make lies for the third time starting April 2026. Now, look at these price tag blackmails. 1 day time period between July 9th and July 10th. 15 price tag blackmails. What are the chances that a person who doesn't think that there's money involved is begging the courts for the courts to listen to his narrations just so that he could enviously lock up my brain savant, just so that my mother cannot get the money that he cannot get? What are the chances that he's going to send me blackmail price tags of millions of dollars to try to check to see through a brain scanner if I'd be willing to give it to him or not? What are the chances if he did not think that there was money involved, and he was still sending me these blackmail price tags when he knows that he's already made so many lies in court that he already cannot stay and narrate. And on top of that, he's sending me blackmail price tags to try to check to see through a brain scanner if I'd be willing to give him any money or not. What are the chances that that could be true? I seriously highly doubt it. He wants to enviously cling on to his ability to narrate in court. The reason is he wants to enviously lock up my brain savant, make sure that my mother cannot get the money that he knows I will never give him a single penny of my brain savant money after my brain savant would get freed. And the only reason he's sending me blackmail price tags of millions of dollars is because he knows that there's a brain scanner and he wants to check his chances of being able to get any money from me. And so that's why he's sending them to me. Common sense dictates that. Why do we know this? Because he's already trying very hard to be able to cling on to court, to be able to narrate false testimonies, lies, and exaggerations against me, even after all the aggressive behavior that he's shown that I will detail shortly, and even after all the lies that he made against me that's costed the government have government informant present for the first set, government informant present for the second set, and phone conversations to be retrieved for the third set of lies that he made against me. Now, let me just read to you some of the blackmail price tag from just 2 days ago. 1 day time period, he sent me 15 blackmail price tags for millions of dollars. What are the chances he doesn't think that there's money involved, and he's openly and visibly in front of the entire world watching, looking so guilty, sending me all these blackmail price tags, knowing that there's no money involved? I highly doubt it. I highly doubt he's already looked enough guilty as it is, making lies against me. He knew about my brain savant, its monetary potential since 2025, and obviously that's why he's doing this, out of extreme envy. And he's sending me all these blackmail price tags due to extreme greed of not being able to see my mother with all this money, and trying to see now what his chances of getting the money is now that he knows that he's failed in getting it. And at the same time, he's like, oh, he's not going to be able to do this, not going to be able to do this. Why do you think law enforcement would, like, why would law enforcement literally hide away from a 30-minute challenge in front of the entire world in Moscow, Russia? And like literally what they would do is they would do a 1-minute challenge, find out exactly what the test result would be at the end of 30 minutes, quickly lock up my entire brain savant, only to run away to not test it out because they know, and they cheated, and artificial intelligence basically told them what would come up at the end of 30 minutes, and they did not wish to see it out with their own eyes. And that is the honest truth on the matter. We know this for a fact since they just did another test on June 24th, and the results for this test, it was just the ears being unlocked while I was driving, and they wanted to see how much my powers would increase if they would let my ears go. So in June 24th, the results came out on July 8th. The reason it only took 2 weeks is because the ear drugging results come out in 21 days. These results come out in 14 days. Yeah. So basically, yeah, artificial intelligence already told everyone that I have instantaneous photographic memory, focusing, and innovation. And if I'm saying exactly what artificial intelligence is saying in this report about my brain savant, and it's 100% accurate, and I'm not psychic, due to which I know about what the report says, and no one told me about what the report says, then obviously I'm telling the truth on it. And that's exactly what the reason is that law enforcement is not able to do a 30-minute brain savant test, because they know what the truth is. They cheat. And what they do is they do a 1-minute long test. And that 1-minute long test, they scan it out with artificial intelligence, which tells them what's going to happen at the end of 30 minutes. And when they find out what's going to happen at the end of the 30 minutes, well, obviously they're not going to do a 30-minute test because they're going to lose. It's like as if someone has artificial intelligence machine, it looks at two sports teams, let's say two football teams practicing playing football in a soccer field. And artificial intelligence tells them while watching these teams which one's going to win the game. Yeah, basically that's what they do. In the 1 minute test, artificial intelligence tells them what's going to happen at the end of 30 minutes. It calculates it for them, and it tells them what's going to happen in the end of 30 minutes, due to which they don't do the 30-minute test because they already know what the results are going to be, and the results are not what they want it to be. Obviously, I will be Kim Peek-Rain Man at the end of 30 minutes. We know this for a fact because I'm not psychic, due to which I know what the artificial intelligence report says. And this girl on December 10th didn't just hit my car while stalking me because the artificial intelligence report came out saying that it was anything less than superhuman. And I'm not psychic, or due to which I know that the reports come out in 21 days. I know it comes out in 21 days because in 21 days something crazy happens. So November 14th came out on December 10th, and the girl hit my back of my car, ended up in the emergency room. And May 10th came out on June 7th, and Kelly from law enforcement started stroking my penis, and she would touch my tongue and then make my rectum feel wet. And then the June 24th, since it wasn't ear drugging, it was just my ears being released, it came out in 2 weeks, July 7th, due to which Kelly from law enforcement, what she ends up doing is she does the exact same thing. It came out, she just strokes my penis and touches my lips with those things, and then touches my rectum. So basically, so basically I know the entire schedule for their stuff because crazy stuff happens. So their artificial intelligence report, basically it tells them what's going to happen at the end of 30 minutes, due to which they don't do a 30-minute test. And my dad, the greedy framer, is doing this out of revenge to try to make me look bad, basically, try to make it look like, oh, he's not going to be able to do it. He's not going to be, what are the chances I won't do it? Considering the fact that artificial intelligence did say that I'm superhuman in innovation, instantaneous photographic memory, and focusing. What are the chances I won't do it? Highly unlikely, right? I mean, I'm not stupid. As soon as I get my powers, I will do it, and I will do it in 30 days. I will get zero tolerance coffee in 30 days. I can guarantee it. And law enforcement, who does not have the guts to look at the reality for 30 minutes in a 30-minute test, should not be talking about whether it's going to take me 30 days or 100 days, and should not be giving this narration to people like my dad, the greedy framer, whom the facts and evidence should show I've never lived with. I have never lived with my dad, the greedy framer, ever in my entire life. Not once, not ever, not even in the same country. We've never lived in the same country. We've never talked on the phone. So I do not know him, and he has no right making narrations about me, especially when this is his behavior. And let me tell you exactly what it is. June 9th and June 10th, he sends me 15 blackmail price tags for millions of dollars. The first one was on July 9th. July 9th, 2026, 2 days ago at 10:36 p.m., he sends me $11.5 million price tag blackmail with his nickname Mona written on it. Then he sends me another one for 6.2 million euros, July 9th, 2026, 2 days ago, 10:36 p.m. Then 2 million euros. Obviously, the first one had dollars in it, but it had his nickname Mona on it, so I would know that it's coming from him, to try to check to see the chances of him getting illegal assurance of money from me, from which 0 is how much he's going to get. 6.2 million euros, July 9th, 2026 at 10:36 p.m. 2 million euros on July 10th, 2026 at 1:08 a.m. Really feel like punching him in the face really, really hard. I am not joking. This is very irritating. Being sent blackmail price tags is one of the most irritating feelings in the world, because the person on the other side is basically saying, haha, I know you're going to get this money, but guess what? I'm going to come get it from you. And it's a very irritating feeling to be receiving these blackmail price tags from someone. I'm not going to lie. So another blackmail price tag for 2 million euros on July 10th at 6:20 a.m. July 10th, 2 days ago, 6:23 a.m. It's a mansion. Okay, blackmail price tag for 10.7 million euros. July 10th, just yesterday at 6:29 a.m. Blackmail price tag for 3 million euros. July 10th at 6:30 a.m. Blackmail price tag for 1.25 million euros. July 10th at 9:40 a.m. Blackmail price tag for 300,000 euros. July 10th 9:43 a.m. Blackmail price tag for 75 million euros. July 10th 9:53 a.m. Blackmail price tag for 6.25 million euros. July 10th 9:58 a.m. Blackmail price tag for 6.25 million euros. Again, July 10th at 10:06 a.m. Blackmail price tag for 75 million euros. July 10th at 10:07 a.m. Blackmail price tag for 75 million euros. July 10th 10:13 a.m. Blackmail price tag for 1.25 million euros. July 10th at 10:31 a.m. Blackmail price tag for 8.5 million euros. July 10th at 11:01 a.m. Then a recording video of a father saying to someone, "I heard you struck my son." I really want to punch this man in the face really, really hard. I'm not going to lie. It's incredibly irritating to be receiving blackmail price tags from someone just to irritate you. Be like, haha, I'll get the money from you. No, you won't. I won't give anyone a single penny. I'm not running for office. So if you want to go fabricate November 20th about me again in news media after my brain savant gets freed as the father of the guy with a triple savant that just came out and became extremely rich really, really fast, go right ahead. See if I'm going to run for office or not. I won't. I can guarantee it. So my journal, it basically says the courts need to understand the fact that these are price tag blackmails in the millions of dollars with my dad, the greedy framer's nickname Mona on it for the first one that is in dollars or millions of euros for the rest of them, only so that I would know that these blackmail price tags came from my dad, the greedy framer. The courts need to keep in mind the fact that these are at least 15 price tag blackmails in a period of only a day between July 9th, 2026 and July 10th. 2026 that only started due to my dad, the greedy framer, realizing the fact that the only thing that could have been left over in this trial was my dad, the greedy framer, narrating for law enforcement. And to say that one of law enforcement's BFFs might have said something even remotely considered bad around me as a child when I did not even have the slightest bit of mental maturity as a child, which my dad, the greedy framer, has realized that even he cannot say in law enforcement's place anymore, who are basically not saying it themselves, due to law enforcement being BFFs with everyone who could have even remotely have said anything remotely considered bad around me when I was a child. Yeah. So basically what that is basically saying is, before July 9, 2026, my dad, the greedy framer, did not send me these blackmail price tags. So you might be wondering, why is he sending it now? The reason he's sending it now is because most of the adults are more guilty than any child could ever be. Not because he's a child and these are adults, but because the adults are basically a bunch of criminals. Let's start with some of the criminals. You have law enforcement. Law enforcement is a criminal. How are they criminals? Well, because they're saying stuff about me being an 11-year-old child, someone saying something bad around me that would only be law enforcement's own BFFs. But I was an 11-year-old child in 2001 when the war occurred. What were the adults in law enforcement doing? They were basically running sex schemes with Uncle Joey's in-laws in 2001, due to which these adults in law enforcement had to aggressively help Uncle Joey with sex scheme ads at the funeral in November 2023, so aggressively that I knew, and everyone with their common sense knew, that these sex schemes basically started in the year 2001. They're not letting me talk right now. It started in the year 2001. And law enforcement are also criminals due to the fact that in 2023, when they were trying to frame me for this wedding incident, they were running money fraud and sex schemes the entire year of 2023. They were running it very, very aggressively and telling the government, "No, we're not going to listen to you. We'll do whatever we feel like doing." Well, they're basically criminals, because whatever this wedding incident was that I could not afford to go to, thankfully, it was a crime, and basically law enforcement covered it over, which means that they are criminals. Now, when law enforcement was trying to frame me, it was, they were running money fraud and sex schemes the entire time, and yeah. It's pretty insane. The other adults would be people like Assad. He is basically also involved in the wedding incident, and he was never asked a single question. And then the other adults would be people like Uncle Joey, who could have said something remotely considered bad around me as a child, and he was never asked a single question. If you looked at the protocol that Uncle Joey was being given at the funeral in November 2023, you'd think he was a government official. I'm not joking. To the point that foreign statesmen started quoting Uncle Joey when Uncle Joey became really angry at the fact that I didn't help him out with his sex scheme at the funeral in November 2023. I seriously thought he was running for office. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. The kind of protocol law enforcement gave to Uncle Joey at the November 2023 funeral, I wanted to go up to him, even though I haven't met him since I was a child. My mother took me out. She was, you tell from the conversation from Russia, it was basically, my mother took me out because he was caught chatting with a girl online. Yeah. And she never let me go near him ever since. I have not seen him ever since, even though law enforcement tried to make me go near him. But the way Uncle Joey was given a protocol in November 2023, I thought he ran for office. Like, I wanted to ask him, like, did you run for office, sir? Because you're being given a pretty good protocol over here. And the reason was, obviously, they had to provide him with sex games. His in-laws must be really, I have no clue. I have no clue what was going on. But one thing I can guarantee you, this friendship, BFF ship that they had started in 2001. Yeah. And so, yeah, this is pretty much all that law enforcement's been doing. So basically, my dad, the greedy framer, realized this pretty fast. And he realized really fast that this kid with the triple brain savant looks like his brain savant's going to get freed because the child narration thing is not going to work out. Not with the entire picture being looked at. They want a child to basically be blamed for something that adult could have been said around the child, even though the child's mother had already talked to law enforcement from beforehand when the child was 11 years old, letting them know that she was a dependent single mother. She would take the child out of every setting possible as soon as he would become even remotely mentally mature enough as a child. And mother kept her word. Not only that, she was never present in the setting where anything even remotely considered bad could have been said, meaning that I am telling the truth and she was telling the truth, that she had to do this till I gained mental maturity as a child so that I could be left at home alone. So, and yeah, they just made me forget right now, so I can't talk. And the third reason is my mother has never been heard uttering one word considered bad her entire life. Due to which we know for a fact. And as soon as I gained the slightest bit of mental maturity, my mother fulfilled her promise, and I was never seen in any settings where anything even remotely considered bad could have ever been said around me ever again. So she fulfilled her promise, whereas law enforcement never fulfilled their promise to their country, to the fact that if the government did stop them from running their money fraud right now, it would have been after a huge amount of time being spent and a lot of force being used. Law enforcement are not the kind of people that would stop their illegal schemes and scams. And the other reason is my dad, the greedy framer, in 2011 was caught basically encouraging people to join terror groups, commit mass murder. You might be thinking, why would he be doing this? Well, first of all, I have to say the fact that my mother's been never heard uttered one word considered bad or racist her entire life, even though she doesn't know anything about any investigations. Like sometimes in the morning when she wakes up, she's a little like, she's really like groggy, and she's like, I'd be like, what about this family? She'd get pissed off. She's like, don't talk to me about this family or stuff like that. But she never like means anything racist about anyone or anything like that. Like, yeah. Later on, she would even be like, I never said anything racist about them. She's not like that at all. She's never been heard uttering one word considered bad her entire life. Yeah. But the thing about, like, my dad, the greedy framer, you might be thinking, like, why was he doing this in 2011? It wasn't just witnessed by me. It was also witnessed by law enforcement. It's only one of the 3 times I've ever met him in my entire life. Why was he doing this in 2011? The reason is very simple. You put someone high up enough to start giving you speeches and sermons and things of that sort of nature, they start, like, saying more and more things that would be considered interesting, and that interesting sermons goes into a demagogue sermon, basically a person attacking people of other races, cultures, religions in order to gain more interesting sermons and more attention, basically. And basically because he's a bad person. Because he's a bad person. I mean, you've been watching my mother for more than 25 years. What was the last time she said something racist, anti-government, bad? Against anyone, any way, shape, or form? Never. And ever since I gained the slightest bit of mental maturity, and I was never around any of law enforcement's BFFs, I was never heard in a setting where anything even remotely considered bad was ever said around me ever again. So until this very day today, never from that moment till today, never heard anything even remotely considered bad being said around me ever again. While I was not even remotely present in any settings where anything even remotely considered bad was ever said around me, from the moment I gained the slightest bit of mental maturity as a child, due to my single mother taking me out of every setting no longer needed the moment I gained the slightest bit of mental maturity as a child. And now my dad, the Greedy Framer, cannot say it anymore due to him realizing that what my dad, the Greedy Framer, was caught doing in 2011, where he was giving sermons on the killing of innocent human beings and joining terror groups, had consequences and effects ranging from people joining terror groups and committing mass murders against innocent human beings, since these sermons from his house were obviously being given for years and years from before he was abruptly tipped off by law enforcement one day. So basically, yeah, that is what he was doing in 2011. Basically giving sermons to large groups of people after calling them over to his house. And those sermons would pretty much be as I'm describing it, where he would encourage people to join terror groups and mass murder people. So it would be incomparable to anything that anyone could have said around me as a child while they were adults supervising me, after my mother had already talked to law enforcement that she had to do this till I gained a slightest bit of mental maturity, and she said that she wasn't present due to being at work, and she said that it would only last till I gained the slightest bit of mental maturity. All proven through facts and evidences to be completely honest and truthful. She was never present. I mean, she was at work. Not only this, her taxes from that time period would show that she was working many hours at fast food restaurants. Except for that, you also have the fact that, yeah, you have that, and everything's been proven truthful from facts and evidences. They're using a lot of drugs on me right now. I gotta take a little break, and I will come back.